ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
Some local schools and daycare centers are getting help in their effort to keep children safe from COVID. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. UC San Diego has installed its signature early COVID detection system in areas considered most at risk. Our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains how the university's unique approach is already paying off for families.
Kristen Dimmler's life changed dramatically when her 11-year-old son Anthony had to start learning from home.
I had to take on that responsibility of being the educator, being the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, the one-on-one aide.
She could no longer work as a teacher and instead devoted herself to Anthony's education.
I've said it a million times, 25 kids were no problem to teach, but my one child, I can't do it. And I'm sure many parents are having that same problem as well.
But Kristen is smiling these days because Anthony is once again on campus at Rancho San Diego's Vista Grande Elementary.
It was just nice to be able to get him back into the school again.
Vista Grande Elementary is one of 10 schools and 2 daycare centers participating in UC San Diego's signature early detection COVID system. The university installed machines to test campus wastewater for COVID, while staff are taking swabs from classroom floors looking for the virus. In 9 weeks, it's detected COVID in wastewater 10 times and found swabs of the virus 4 times. Positives bring on individual testing and safety protocols.
We really wanted to think about how can we keep childcare available for people and how can we open schools for kids who really, really need to be there.
We're at that point to where my son's getting back in school 5 days a week, so hopefully we'll be back to normal soon.
For Kristen, that means being back running her own classroom. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
UCSD chose schools in areas with the highest COVID rates and the lowest testing rates. It plans to expand to more schools and to publish instructions so other schools and child cares can implement that system on their own.
County leaders say overall trends here are going in the right direction, but there is still a lot of work to be done. And they worry because fewer people are getting sick. It's easy to forget the damage the virus is doing across San Diego.
The supply of vaccines we have is dedicated towards saving lives. And I think at this point of COVID, it's easy to get a little numb to the daily numbers. But yesterday we reported 51 San Diegans who died from COVID-19. Today we are reporting an additional 51 San Diegans who died from COVID-19. This is just over 100 of our fellow San Diegans who lost their life.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says he expects the number of vaccine doses to be slow but steady for the rest of the month. He does anticipate an increase in our vaccine supply next month.
And as you just heard, 51 more San Diegans have died from the virus. There were more than 1,100 new cases reported today. That breaks a 3-day streak of fewer than 1,000 new daily cases. That also brings our total to just under 250,000. And a new change should help make it easier for people to get vaccine appointments. Today, President Biden said that states will get more advance notice about new shipments of the vaccine. Governor Gavin Newsom says the state will then be able to start giving counties 3 weeks notice on how many doses will arrive. Because counties will have that early notice, they may be able to open more appointments in advance. San Diegans have been telling us it has been frustrating trying to make an appointment.
I feel myself getting anxious, like going onto that website 3-4 times a day. Are they going to release them? The only days that are calendared for any available appointments are today and tomorrow.
We asked the county if the additional notice will affect their appointment process. They told us they don't know those specifics yet. As of today, more than 453,000 people in San Diego County have been vaccinated for COVID-19. More than 95,000 have been fully vaccinated, meaning they have received both shots.
Scientists have detected 2 cases of the so-called South Africa variant in California. The variant appears to be more transmissible than the conventional coronavirus, and the current vaccines are less effective against it. ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is going in depth to explain what makes this variant different.
All of the current coronavirus vaccines share one thing in common. They train your immune system to build antibodies by introducing fake spike proteins. They're designed to look just like the spiky knobs on the surface of the actual coronavirus. But the South Africa variant has a few tiny mutations in its spikes, says UCSD virologist Doug Richman.
So the whole spike doesn't change shape. What happens is a little knob or piece, we call it an epitope, that specific antibodies bind to is changed so they no longer bind.
Fewer working antibodies means the vaccines are less effective against this variant, and COVID survivors are at risk of a second infection. There are now dozens of confirmed reinfections in other parts of the globe.
In general, almost all the time, the second case is much milder than the first.
You see that, most of it is actually found in South Africa, but you have some in Mozambique.
Karthik Gangavarapu is one of the scientists at the Scripps Research Institute that sequences samples looking for mutations in the virus. They were the first to spot the UK variant in San Diego, but so far they haven't found the one from South Africa.
We've seen evidence of this, the variant being detected in many other countries, but we haven't seen a huge increase in prevalence yet of that variant.
He says the spike protein is made up of about 1,200 amino acids. Every once in a while, the virus makes a mistake while copying itself that causes one of those acids to change, seen in red. The South Africa variant shares some of the mutations in the UK variant, plus two others. One is the 484th acid in the sequence, which changed from an E to a K, what scientists call E484K. Researchers believe that may be the critical change, making vaccines 5 to 6 times less effective against this variant. But Dr. Richman points out the vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna still appear to work.
What's going to happen is someone who would have a life-threatening or hospitalization-required infection will have a milder infection.
All of the vaccine makers are working on booster shots to better recognize the South Africa variant spikes, including that mutation, E484K. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
We know there are a lot of questions and different experiences with the vaccine rollout. Our ABC 10 News in-depth team is committed to tracking down answers. Just send us an email at tips@10news.com.
Surveillance video shows a burglar smashing his way into a gelato shop in Carlsbad. And as our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen shows us, the suspect, when he was finished, he left several businesses hurting even more during this pandemic.
A shattered front door marks the burglar's entry point just before 5 Saturday morning along Palmer Way. A masked man spotted looking inside a cash register, prowling the inside of Italian restaurant Bologna Gourmet. Next up, a search of these shelves.
It makes me feel sad. It's so disrespectful.
Co-owner Andrea Letta says the intruder raided the back office, grabbing hundreds of dollars in cash, a laptop, shoes, and sunglasses. The thief's most costly move, leaving the refrigerator door open. Co-owner Andrea Benora.
There was the filet mignon, there was a full ribeye, there was a swordfish.
Says they had to throw away more than $2,000 in food. For the owners, it means more financial pain during the pandemic. Their revenues are down more than 40%.
In this pandemic situation, to be perfect is the minimum to survive.
Next door at Gelato Love, a similar scene. Video shows moments after he left Bologna Gourmet, he threw something at the gelato shop's door, shattering it before walking in. Inside, he grabbed some change out of the cash register before taking off. Not much taken, but the repair bill is about $600. For a business that's seen a 60% drop for in-store sales during the pandemic, that loss will hurt. Owner Paula Richard.
It's something that's going to damage us for sure. Felt like it was one more thing to take care of on top of all the stress that we had.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Both businesses are insured, but the owner of Gelato Love says it's just not worth filing a claim. Anyone with information on the break-ins is asked to call Carlsbad Police.